All right, today we're diving into some research on a potential new treatment for severe COVID.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it involves these things called Wharton's jelly-derived mesenchymal stem cells.
Wharton's jelly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, it's found in umbilical cords, and there's a team of researchers over the Tehran University of Medical Sciences.
Okay.
They think that it could be a key to tackling the long-term effects of COVID.
Interesting.
Yeah, they published this one-year follow-up study in Gene Reports,
Okay.
and it's got some people talking.
So these mesenchymal stem cells or MSCs, they're pretty remarkable. They can basically self-regenerate and also turn into different kinds of cells, like bone cells, cartilage cells, even muscle cells.
Yeah.
So you can see why scientists are kind of excited about their potential for regenerative medicine.
Yeah, it's like they've got the instructions to become whatever the body needs.
Exactly. And when it comes to COVID-19, one of the reasons they're so interesting is they seem to be able to modulate the immune system. It's kind of like calming it down when it's overreacting.
Oh, okay. Which is often what causes, like, the worst damage in severe COVID cases.
So how does Wharton's jelly fit into all of this?
So Wharton's jelly is it's a substance found in the umbilical cord,
Okay.
and it happens to be a very rich source of these MSCs. And here's the really exciting part. Umbilical cords are usually just discarded after birth.
Ah,
So we've got like a readily available and ethically obtained source of these potentially powerful cells.
that's pretty amazing when you think about it. So this study took 5 patients who had severe COVID and treated them with these WJ-MSCs. What were the researchers looking for?
Primarily, they were focused on safety and long-term effects, which is super important. They wanted to make sure that this treatment, especially with stem cells, wouldn't cause any unintended consequences down the line. Specifically, they were looking at the risk of tumor formation, which is always a concern with stem cell therapies.
That makes sense. You don't want to solve one problem and then create another one even further down the road. So what did they find after a year of monitoring these patients? The results are really encouraging. After a year of follow-up, which include blood tests, tumor markers, and even whole-body CT scans, there were no signs of tumor formation in any of the patients.
So that's great news for the safety aspect. But did the treatment actually seem to help with the effects of COVID?
There were definitely some positive signs there, too. They saw a significant decrease in inflammatory markers, which are substances in the blood that indicate inflammation, and they also observed a significant increase in lymphocyte and lymph counts.
Okay, so for those of us who don't speak fluent immunology, what does that actually mean?
Lymphocytes are a type of white blood cell that are a key part of our immune system, and lymph is the fluid that carries these cells throughout the body.
Oh, okay.
So these findings suggest that WJ-MSCs might actually be helping to boost the immune system's recovery after being hit so hard by COVID.
So it's not just about calming down that initial immune overreaction. It's about helping the immune system bounce back stronger.
Exactly, and that could be incredibly important for preventing those long-term complications that some people experience after having COVID-19.
That's certainly promising news. But I have to ask, we're only talking about 5 patients here. Is that really enough to draw any real conclusions?
You're right to be cautious. I mean, this is a very small study, and it's just the first step. But it is a very important first step. It gives us a strong indication that this treatment is safe in the long term and that it might have real potential for helping people recover from severe COVID.
So this Wharton's jelly stuff, it really could be a game changer.
It's certainly an intriguing avenue for further research. Just imagine. Something that's routinely discarded as medical waste could actually hold the key to treating a global pandemic and its long-term effects. That's pretty remarkable, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It just shows you the power of scientific curiosity and the importance of constantly looking for new and innovative solutions.
And don't forget the potential of regenerative medicine as a whole. I mean, this is just one example of how we might be able to use our own cells to heal and repair our bodies. The possibilities are pretty mind-blowing.
Okay. So we've got this potential new treatment for COVID-19, and it's coming from something as common as an umbilical cord.
Mm-hmm.
What's next? Where do we go from here? Let's take a quick pause, and when we come back, we'll explore some of the broader implications of this research and what it might mean for the future of medicine. We were just talking about this study using WJ-MSCs
Right.
to potentially treat severe COVID-19 and its long-term effects. It's exciting to see results like that,
It is.
even from a small study.
Yeah, definitely. And it's important to remember that this is really just the beginning and a lot
Yeah.
more research is needed.
For sure.
But the initial findings are really encouraging.
I think what really struck me is this idea that something we usually just throw away,
Yeah.
could be such a powerful tool for healing. It makes you wonder what other possibilities are out there.
Absolutely. I mean, we've touched on the potential of these cells for regenerating tissue,
Yeah.
but their ability to modulate the immune system, that
Right.
also opens up a whole other realm of possibilities. Think about conditions like autoimmune disorders, where the immune system is essentially attacking the body's own tissues. What if we could use these cells to kind of retrain the immune system and prevent that kind of damage?
So instead of just treating the symptoms, we're getting at the root cause of the problem.
Exact.
That's a whole different way of thinking about medicine.
Precisely. And the fact that these cells come from umbilical cords, which
Yeah.
are so readily available and ethically obtained,
Yeah.
I mean, that makes this prospect even more compelling.
Okay, so let's talk about the bigger picture here.
Yeah.
We've been focusing on COVID-19,
Right.
but what other conditions might benefit from this kind of treatment?
Well, the potential applications are vast. There's promising research being done on using MSCs to treat heart disease, stroke, spinal cord injuries,
Wow.
and even certain types of cancer.
That's incredible. It's like we're on the verge of a whole new era of medicine.
I think that's a fair assessment. Of course, there are still challenges to overcome.
Yeah.
We need to figure out the best ways to administer these cells, what dosages are most effective,
Right.
and how to personalize treatment for each individual.
And of course, we need more research to confirm these initial findings and make sure that these therapies are both safe and effective in the long run.
Absolutely. Science is a process, and it takes time to fully understand the complexities of these treatments.
But even with all of that said, it's hard not to get excited about the potential here.
Yeah.
It's like we're seeing a glimpse of a future
Yeah,
where we can harness the power of our own bodies to heal
right.
in ways we never thought possible.
It's a future worth striving for
Yeah.
sure. And it's a future that you, as our listener, can be a part of.
What do you mean by that?
Well, by staying informed and curious, asking questions, and seeking out reliable information, you can help shape the direction of this research and advocate for the development of these potentially life-changing therapies.
That's a great point. We can all play a role in making this future a reality.
Mhm.
Now, before we wrap up our deep dive into this, there's one more crucial question we need to address. So we've been talking about all this incredible potential of these Wharton's jelly-derived stem cells.
Right.
But there's a big question
Yeah.
that's probably on everyone's mind right now.
I think so, yeah.
What does all of this mean for me?
Right.
How could this research impact my life?
Exactly.
How close are we to actually seeing these treatments become a reality?
Well, it's important to remember that we are still really in the early stages of research.
Sure.
This 1-year follow-up study, this is a great starting point,
Right.
but we really need those larger clinical trials with more patients
Yeah.
to confirm the safety and effectiveness of these WJ-MSCs
Right.
for treating severe COVID-19, let alone all these other conditions we've been talking about.
So this isn't something I could just go ask my doctor about tomorrow.
Not quite yet, but the good news is that the research is moving forward.
Okay.
There are already several clinical trials underway
Oh, wow.
around the world that are investigating the use of MSCs for all sorts of different conditions.
So where can I go to find out more about this research?
Mhm.
Maybe even see if there are any clinical trials that I or someone I know might be eligible for.
A great place to start is clinicaltrials.gov.
Okay.
It's a website run by the U.S. National Institutes of Health
Okay.
that lists clinical trials that are happening all over the world.
Okay.
You can actually search for trials by condition, location, all sorts of different criteria.
Oh, that's helpful.
Yeah.
And beyond just looking for clinical trials, what else can people do to kind of stay informed about the progress of this research?
I would recommend keeping an eye on some reputable science news sources,
Okay.
like Science Daily, the New York Times Science section, and of course, organizations like the National Institutes of Health, the National Stem Cell Foundation.
Right.
They have some great resources on their websites.
And I'd add, don't be afraid to ask your doctor about all these new developments.
Right.
They may not have all the answers right away,
Yeah.
but they can at least point you in the right direction
Absolutely.
and help you understand what this research could mean for you and your health.
Yeah. Healthcare is a partnership. It's important to be an active participant in your own care.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into this world of Wharton's jelly
Right.
and its potential for revolutionizing medicine,
Amazing stuff.
we want to leave you with this sense of hope and possibility.
I agree.
This research is just one example of the incredible advances that are being made in the field of regenerative medicine.
Right.
And it's a good reminder that sometimes the most promising solutions come from the most unexpected places.
Absolutely.
Who would have thought that something we've been throwing away for centuries could hold the key to treating some of our most challenging health problems?
Yeah, it makes you wonder what other discoveries are out there,
Exactly.
just waiting to be made.
So stay curious, keep exploring,
Absolutely.
and who knows, you might be the one to unlock the next big medical breakthrough.
You never know.
Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.